Hey everybody, this is BNJ Productions. Happy Wednesday. I'm Jacob Beatles and this is Brandon Avery, and today we're doing a basketball talk, and we're going to start a new series of going over all 30 teams in the NBA. We're starting today with the Toronto Raptors, San Antonio Spurs, and the Los Angeles Lakers. Starting out, we have the Toronto Raptors, and with the big trade between the Spurs and the Raptors, Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green was traded to the Spurs for Jacob Poeltl and DeMar DeRozan and a couple of picks. And the Toronto Raptors are hoping to do even better than they have in the East now that LeBron is out of there. And LeBron has always been the Raptors' kryptonite in a sense, and the Raptors are starting to look a little better this year, and they're excited for the new season.
Honestly, what everybody's looking at this year is these three teams with the new trades and acquisitions that they've gotten this year. I think some of them get better, some of the three get worse. Toronto Raptors, I think, is a team that gets worse.
Yeah, really?
I like DeMar DeRozan. I like the system they had. I think that they just choked a lot in the playoffs, but I think that they're a really good team.
Yeah, and I think DeMar DeRozan was definitely one of the best fits on a team with Toronto Raptors, and I think he was kind of the face of that franchise, even though they still have Kyle Lowry. But now their starting five are looking at point guard. At point guard, Kyle Lowry, shooting guard Danny Green in the trade, small forward Kawhi Leonard, power forward Serge Ibaka, and center Jonas Valanciunas. And that's a pretty good starting five. One of the rivals, one of the best in the East, and with the Celtics. And I think it's a really good starting five. But when the depth gets in, you got Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, and Greg Monroe signed him this summer. And I think it's going to be kind of exciting for Toronto.
They're
I think
definitely going to be relying on that first team a lot more than the bench.
Yeah, Greg Monroe is a little unreliable. Fred VanVleet got a new contract, and he's been a good backup for Kyle Lowry, and he'll get quite a few looks. And Pascal Siakam's still young, and still got OJ Anunoby and another second-year guy. And I think it's going to be a little difficult for them to get started at first, but once the season gets going, they're going to keep on rolling.
Yep, exactly. I think they're a good team. Kawhi Leonard, it's like running from a cult. The cult is the Spurs. A lot of people are calling him a diva. I think he's just escaping Greg Popovich. It's kind of a iffy situation right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Greg Popovich always wants his players to be controlled and not tempered easily, but I guess Kawhi was just done with it and he wanted to get out. I mean, he was a little diva-ish about it, but he got out of there.
Yep.
Okay, and then for our second team, we have the San Antonio Spurs. Speaking of Greg Popovich, they got a nice young team along with DeMar DeRozan, a couple oldies, and Paul Gasol, Manu Ginobili retired this past week. Tony Parker signed with the Charlotte Hornets. Kind of an end of an era there. Tim Duncan retired a couple years back, and kind of a sad thing for the Spurs organization, as those players were always key in their wins and their victories, and Greg Popovich kind of his homies, and just a lot of sad things in San Antonio, but they still got the young guys, DeMonte Murray. They've got LaMarcus Aldridge still. Just a lot of younger guys. Signed Marco Bellinelli this summer, and I don't know. And what do you think about the Spurs?
Honestly, they might be bad this year. They might not do as expected this year, but they're not going to stay down for very long. I think Greg Popovich has known that these guys are going to be gone in a few years, and he's been setting the stones for how he wants to take his team in the future and how to make them better with young players. And I think he has his centerpiece in DeMar DeRozan now to build around.
And definitely they got young guys. DeJounte Murray kind of took over for Tony Parker's starting role last year. But, I mean, he's an incredible ball player. He's starting to get better and better each game. Drafted Lonnie Walker out of Miami, a shooting guard. He's an incredible ball player. I think one of the sleeper picks for not Rookie of the Year, but just having a really good season. Nobody's going to take that away from my boy, Luka Doncic. But Lonnie Walker, I'm very excited for. He's a good fit on the Spurs. I think he's going to be incredible in a couple years. Just got to learn behind DeMar and DeJounte and learn from Rudy Gay and LaMarcus Aldridge. And LaMarcus Aldridge was an all-star last year. Do you think he keeps up his game at an all-star level?
I think he does, because he is getting old, but his game isn't based off of crazy athleticism or anything like that. His game is based off of solid moves.
Solid rebounds, stuff like that.
So I don't see him declining that much in age.
And they've got the Spurs, like I said, young players. Lonnie Walker, DeJounte Murray, traded for Jacob Poeltl, and got that in with DeMar DeRozan. He's a good young center, and I think he can take over for Paul Gasol quite a bit.
Yep.
And Marco Bellinelli signed this summer, and always got the veteran Patty Mills as a good backup.
Mm-hmm.
Him and DeJounte Murray probably splitting some starts this year, and I think under Greg Popovich's supervision that this team can get better and better each year.
Yep, definitely.
Okay, and last but not least, we've got the Los Angeles Lakers. L.A. Braun, and a lot of big things planned for the Lakers this season. I mean, you got people signed for Rajon Rondo, Lance Stevenson, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope re-signed. Got JaVale McGee, Michael Beasley, drafted a young guy for Moritz Wagner from Michigan. Got a lot of big acquisitions along with LeBron James, the best player in the NBA right now. And people are a little bit excited, but I don't know. How do you feel about this Lakers team this year?
I really like this Lakers team. I think that they have a perfect mix of young, athletic guys mixed in with veterans who have been in the league for so long. I mean, of course, LeBron, the best player in the NBA. Rajon Rondo at one point was one of the best point guards.
Fastest point guard, and then he got traded to the Mavs and kind of went downhill from there. Had a lot of big games in the playoffs last year with the Pelicans, and as they upsided the Trailblazers, and I think he's going to be a little key point, but it depends on how well Lonzo steps up to see who gets that point guard position.
I think Lonzo's going to take it. I really like Lonzo. I like his court vision, his athleticism. I think his shot is going to come. Of course, it's going to come. Every rookie goes through those things.
And he had the same amount of stat lines as Rookie of the Year 2 years ago in Malcolm Brogdon, and people were saying, "Oh, Lonzo's a bust," but I mean, Malcolm Brogdon won Rookie of the Year. I mean, just Ben Simmons and Donovan Mitchell and Jason Tatum all had amazing years, and Lonzo was kind of left high to dry and almost a bust. But
the only thing I'm looking at this year is, are they going to facilitate the offense through Lonzo or LeBron? Because LeBron has already said this is Lonzo's team, and I'm here to be with it, not to take it over. But honestly, if you're a coach, how hard are you going to run it through LeBron or are you going to run it through Lonzo? That's a hard choice.
Yeah, and there's a lot of young talent on this team. You got shooting guard Josh Hart, who's going to step up his game a lot. Saw him play a little bit in the offseason, just working out and stuff on Twitter, looking at highlight videos of him, and he's stepped up his game a lot. Lonzo, of course, and I think he'll step up his game quite a bit, especially with mentorship under LeBron and Rajon Rondo and a lot of guys. And then KCP's coming back. Brandon Ingram's a young guy. He's going to be incredible. He's got lots of learning to do, but he's going to be a good ball player. Along with Kyle Kuzma, he's another young guy, almost in the top 5 for Rookie of the Year voting, and he took a lot of people by surprise. And
I can see, that's a controversial opinion, but I can see Lonzo Ball averaging a triple-double without being a detriment to the team.
Yeah.
Without being labeled as a stat patter, he's just going to go out there and get a triple-double every night because he's built for it.
Then LeVar really wouldn't shut up.
Yeah.
But
we would never get into him.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram, I think he's going to be one of the more promising players, and I mean, they have tons of cap space for the next offseason. I don't think the Lakers can win it all this year. I think it's a big learning year. Probably won't get a top 3, top 2 seeding, but I think they'll get pretty far in the playoffs. And
I think they could upset some people in the playoffs too.
Yeah, and I think Lakers, if they have an opportunity to sign Kawhi next summer, Klay Thompson, a lot of players like that, they're going to be even better. And I think Klay Thompson is going to leave the Warriors. That's kind of controversial. I think he might have a chance to go and sign with the Lakers, and that would elevate their team even more. Because Klay Thompson is an amazing three-point shooter, and the Warriors without Klay Thompson is...
Well, let's say this. Let's say this year Lakers beat the Warriors in the playoffs, 7 games, and Klay Thompson goes to the Lakers the next year. Do we treat him like Kevin Durant, or
I don't know.
Do we treat him like a snake, or do we treat him like...
That's a good question. I don't know. I think with the way Klay Thompson works, and he's a quiet guy. He doesn't talk trash. Kind of a respectable player. I like him a lot. I think he's a good guy, and I don't know. I think people were just upset with the way Kevin Durant treated things because he always bashed on the Heat and the Lakers for people going to their teams.
I think it was just so unexpected too. Was one part of it.
People were surprised.
I honestly thought he was going to go to the Clippers because there was multiple reports when that happened that he liked what the Clippers had liked their plan. of things going forward.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to happen, but it didn't.
Yeah, it didn't. But who knows how people are going to treat Klay Thompson. I think he's trying to look out for what's best. I think that's what Kevin Durant did. But, I mean, like Brandon said, he surprised so many people. And I think it's going to be an interesting season and a lot of crazy things happening. And just going to be an amazing year for the NBA.
Yep, agree.
All right, this has been BNJ Productions, Brandon and Jacob's Basketball Talk. I'm Jacob Beatles. This is Brandon Avery. Have a great Wednesday. God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow.